Recording in progress. Yeah. Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Basic Nerd Experience. This is your host, Chili and Mr. 305, coming back at you live from Utah. How you doing? Yeah. And over here, I don't know if you can see him on my left or my right, but we got the one and only, the host with the most that looks like a ghost, Elliot. That's my boy right there. How you doing?
I'm doing good. This is Elliot. How you doing, Mr. Andres?
I'm doing good. Yeah. Ginger Mr. 754 and Chili Mr. 305 coming back at you. And
Representing the Broward and Miami areas of South Florida.
of course, keeping it nice and smooth for you, for your listening pleasure.
That's right. For your southern pleasure.
Speaking of southern pleasures,
Linkin Park.
yeah. We would like to return to the world of music.
Yes.
And we would like to discuss a band that Elliot and I have been listening to ever since like maybe middle school, like when we were back in the back in the Somerset days where we were like edgy and we thought that we were cool when really we were cringe and stuff like. But Linkin Park has had a studied history throughout the years. Like they've been around since 2000, like maybe even 1998. And we would like to go over their discography and basically share our thoughts on, what are our favorite albums, what are the albums we don't think are as good, Chester Bennington's passing, rest in peace, and what we think of the new era of Linkin Park, starting from zero. Yeah, that's a pun right there.
Yeah, from zero. From zero. No, but I also wanted to add that I just saw them a couple weeks back at Welcome to Rockville, so I kind of wanted to add that perspective to it as well. Because I get to see them live, and I've never seen them live with Chester, but to see it now, this new era, we're in an interesting time in music, I would say.
Well,
so I'll just leave it at that for now.
I think that's a good place to start. So what do you think of the new singer versus Chester?
I think this is like our generation's Bon Scott to Brian Johnson.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah.
Because I feel like, okay, the first singer died for different reasons, kind of took a hiatus. I mean, I don't know the ACDs, how long they took a hiatus to find Brian Johnson, but I definitely knew that for the Park, it was definitely at least 6 years. So obviously people are like, it's not the same with Linkin Park. They might as well just get a new band, still play the hits, but also try something different and call something different. But there's some people that are like, okay, but you have to keep a band going. There's plenty of bands whose lead singer dies and they keep going, like Alice in Chains,
Yeah.
I mean, there's also some bands, but they're just some bands that
AC/DC. Yeah.
AC/DC that keep going on, or there's some singers that some bands that just go, hey, if the singer's done, we're done, like Nirvana or Soundgarden. Others just want to keep going. So I think they should keep going. I think the messaging behind like mental health awareness, I think, is very prevalent in their lyrics. So I think them spreading the message and their story has saved, like, I know it sounds over dramatic, but it has saved lives. And I know a lot of people that talk about, like, even at the festival, people talk about how it saved them from depression or addiction or all these kind of stuff. So it's like one of those bands, I think people like, these are one of these bands where everybody remembers where they were when they heard Hybrid Theory. Everybody knows what they were when they heard Meteora. Like, these are one of these albums that, like, I would even argue that go against, like, I remember when I heard like Zeppelin 2 to that extent. Like, I think it's one of these bands, like,
well, yeah, Linkin Park is big for a reason. And like, as you said, I know where I was when I first heard Hybrid Theory. I know where I was when I first heard Meteora. Hell, I know where I was when I heard one of my favorite Linkin Park albums, like A Thousand Suns. My favorite song is Iridescent from Linkin Park. And I know exactly where I was when I first heard it. I was in the movie theater in 2011 with my parents. And I was just like, what is this song, bro? Like,
was this Dark of the Moon?
With the what?
Was this Dark Side of the Moon?
Okay, Pink Floyd. It's Dark of the Moon. It's Pink Floyd. But I remember back in 2011, I knew of Linkin Park, and I got introduced to them through actually Rock Band, because Rock Band had One Step Closer. And when I was in Taekwondo and when I was hanging out with my friends, everybody had Rock Band because back in the day, you and I both know like we're geeks for this sort of stuff, and we always play Rock Band.
Yeah.
And One Step Closer was in Rock Band too, and I was just like, what is this? What is this noise that is so pleasing to my ears? You know what I mean? And as far as Linkin Park's appeal for it, I can tell you my appeal. My appeal is that I think Linkin Park has that sort of aggressive push of energy with a kind of message that is hidden underneath in the lyrical department. You know what I mean? Because like they have the chop, they're fantastic artists. They're great musicians. You know, they can arrange incredible music, like among the best, if not the 2000s of all time. Absolutely, like listen to something like Waiting for the End. Waiting for the End is incredible. It's a pure mix of what they did back then, mixed with something that's strange but new, you know? It's really cool. And even pushing it further, when they did In Living Things and The Hunting Party, when they were
Oh yeah.
yeah, back when everybody was calling them an aging industrial band, I'm just like, Linkin Park is like one of those bands where like as you get older and you reflect on albums like Meteora and Hybrid Theory, right? Like you tend to see like what exactly these guys were feeling. It was primal rage, like towards self and towards somebody who wanted you to be someone that you didn't want to be, you know? And I
Yeah.
think that's important for like kids to hear as well. It's just like, hey, you're you. You may be from your parents may have made you, but you're not them. Like, even if they're pushing expectations on you, like you're brought into this world for a reason. And you got to find what that reason is. You can ask for help, you can ask for guidance, of course, but they can't dictate who you are. That's you.
That's basically numb.
That's numb. That is numb. Exactly.
And that even hits home like even more. Yeah, I know
Brings a tear to me eye.
But no, I think like you said, I mean to kind of share my story. I remember my dad burned Hybrid Theory on like he like burnt back when people were burning CDs just so that they didn't have to pay for it.
I
That's
love
when
that.
yeah, so right from the library, burned the CDs so we have to pay. Sorry, I'm giving away my secrets.
Oh shit! Oh yeah, yeah. Well, it's not like we have free streaming now. Like you can express it how you want, bro.
That's true. Yeah, that's a good point. Um, but we did that, and I remember listening to Paper Cut. And I remember listening to like just how bouncy and fun it was, and just like the chorus and everything. Like I don't know, it was a pure blend of like rock and hip hop,
Yeah, with a
and
little
also
bit
just
of
like each. Oh, go ahead.
no, I was just about to say with a little bit of electronica in the mix. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Yeah. And John, like I don't remember what his name is. Is Johan? Johan is the MC of the group, and the guy
Mm.
just knows how to mix it so well.
Yeah, and it's some really cool songs, and obviously you have like in the end, of course, is like a classic song. Like you got your classics there, but even like the deep cuts or Paper Cut is also another one too. I just feel like it has that fun bouncy element to it, which is good. But I feel like their strongest, in my opinion, was Meteora or Minutes to Midnight. I feel like are my favorite albums.
Well, minutes to midnight, like there are some circles that I know that classify minutes to midnight as the alt rock period of
Yeah,
Linkin Park when they were transitioning from that hardcore, like industrial metal type of thing. But like if you look even deeper in minutes to midnight, you have songs like I think it's called Sorrow, Given
No More
Up.
Sorrow.
No More Sorrow, No More Sorrow, Giving Up. I think Giving Up is one of their hardest songs that they've ever made. And it's a really
Um,
good running song, if you ask me. Yeah.
Bleed It Out, of course.
Bleed It Out, a timeless. Funny story about Bleed It Out. Bleed It Out was actually recorded live.
I believe
Like,
that.
like it was at a party with Pharrell and everybody else, right? Like,
Pharrell.
yeah, Pharrell was even there. Yeah. And like, Mike Shinoda started off with that. Yeah. And that was live. Like there's no professional recording of it or anything. That's the song. That's how they made
I
up.
love that.
I can say the same thing to a song like War from the Hunting Party. That's another deep cut that a lot of that like
I've never listened. There's that weird period of Linkin Park where I kind of felt like they escaped their genre they never got into. But you like this era of Linkin Park, right?
yeah, I remember saying I remember I told you that at one point the Hunting Party was my favorite Linkin Park album. That's not the case anymore, but that doesn't mean that the Hunting Party is bad or anything. It does contain the worst Linkin Park song I've ever heard though.
Which is
Drawbar featuring Tom Morello. What a boring ass song, dude. This song is just lifeless, dude. It feels like you've been sucked into the sunken place, right? And it's just Tom Morello just noodling like beep. What are you pinging? You sound like the tech support. What the hell?
so
Ugh.
you tell me they made the theme song for tech support?
Yeah, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, this is bad, but you have songs like what's it called? You have songs like Until It's Gone. Until It's Gone is a fantastic song, like incredible. Rebellion with Darren Malakian of a freaking System of a
Oh,
Down, bro.
yeah.
Dude, yeah, Keys to the Kingdom, Lion in the Sand, and War. Like I can name you a lot of these songs, and I genuinely enjoy listening to them. Okay, I think we gotta talk about one more. Like,
Because I the biggest okay because this is also important to know because this is around the same time when a few months after this Chester died.
yeah, yeah,
So and this is before then when this is the last piece of. I think this is important to history because of what it represents, but also like this is Chester's last album.
yeah,
So it's a pretty significant album. Like with no matter what you think about this album, this is a very important album for
yep.
Linkin Park, the discography.
It's a
And
it's a milestone.
why do you think it's a milestone?
I think it's a milestone because they tried to do something that in a way it was different than what they did before. They were leaning more on the electronica part and trying to incorporate more pop elements into their music, which I was all for. I was good. Like, okay, initially back in 2017 when this thing released, I listened to the album and I didn't like it. I didn't
Yeah,
like. I was probably like a lot of Linkin Park fans where I'm just like, what is this? This is weird. It's not really that good. Like, and yeah, there are some lyrics that like take the song "Good Goodbyes" for example. When Mike Shinoda says, "I've been doing this longer than you've been alive, you fucking idiot."
oh,
Like,
is this with Pusha T?
I think it is. I think it is. Yeah. And yeah, there's some like lyrical flaws in it, of course. Like it sounds kind of pretentious sometimes, but like you take a look at the title track, One More Light. I think it's one of the most beautifully haunting songs they've ever released. Especially like I've seen live performances on YouTube when Chester is in like with the crowd, like surrounded by the crowd, and they're all touching him. He's trying to touch them back, right? And like it's one of the more like it's very emotional because you
Yeah.
really feel what he's singing.
I remember Heavy was a big one. Very the calming acoustic one. That was a good one. I
Yeah,
think people got also angry because this is supposed to be Linkin Park. They're supposed to be angry, but I'm like,
mm,
even though you don't agree with it, like I agree. I wasn't a fan of this album, but I'm like, bands should evolve.
I
Hell, I think
agree.
bands should change their sound, see what happens. If you don't like it, then you feel the vibe and go from there.
Right, right. And like, um, what was it? It was heavy. Heavy, I think, is a great song. I love it. The more I listen to it, the more I like it.
Yeah.
I don't know what to tell you. One More Light is one of the most emotional songs I think they've ever released in their discography. Incredible, incredible. But like taking the album by itself versus what it means for the entirety of their history, like there's this ominous glow around this album. Like, and it's not an album that I often come back to, not because I think it's horrible, but because I think it's like the context around it you can't really separate from it.
Right.
Because if you hear One More Light, I keep coming back to One More Light, but that song is basically a peek into what Chester was feeling.
It's kind of like they're like a stone from Audio Slave.
Yeah, fitting because Chris Cornell and Chester were the best of friends, and they died by suicide within 2 months of each other.
Yeah. There's also speculation because Chris Bennington. Chester Bennington killed himself on Chris Cornell's birthday.
Yeah. At the end of the day, you don't know what people are going through, Like you can talk shit all you want, but you don't really know in the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it just reminds you to be nice and careful and sweet to
Yeah.
people.
And it's interesting because transitioning from One More Light, we go to Mike Shinoda's EP where like this happened back in I think the end of 2018, and I was hearing this, and like he was reflecting on what he was feeling during his time, like the final months before Chester's passing and afterwards.
Mm.
And like it's really solemn. I think it has
Uh,
one of his what's up?
so when he was making his EP, it basically the timeline was before and after Chester died. So he had he was in two different writing stages, I guess.
He was in two different headspaces, and
Oh
you
wow.
could like the EP is only 5 or 6 songs, but you can tell when the transition happens midway through the EP.
Wow.
Yeah, it's like um I don't remember what the EP is called, but it's under Mike Shinoda. It's from 2018. I recommend it. It's really good. But transitioning from there, like we got Emily Armstrong coming in as the new vocalist for Linkin Park.
I'm sorry, is this album post traumatic?
Yes, that's the one.
2018?
2018, that's the one.
Looks like an album actually.
How many songs does it have?
18.
18? Oh, dang. I must have heard the EP that happened before that. Hmm.
We don't have to do this now. Sorry, I'm just
Yeah, yeah,
curious.
yeah.
So, in my head, I don't know. I can say anything at this point.
I remember in my head. Yeah, that's familiar to me. It was on an EP that he released. I remember.
Okay, but anyway,
But going back to it, you got Emily Armstrong joining the band, and you got a really split fan base here. Like the hardcore people who just want to let Chester's legacy live on untouched, and then you got the Linkin Park fans who want to carry on that legacy through continued music and artistry. And I'm not like these two perspectives are fine to have, but in a way, like you got to let the musicianship speak for itself, how it
yeah,
sounds, the message that comes behind it, and better yet, does is it a worthy carrier to the Linkin Park name? And in my opinion, in my humbling, bumbling opinion, yes, it does. Yes, it does. It may be controversial, but yes,
yes, it does. How so?
I truly believe that From Zero carries on a good name for Linkin Park.
Oh
And
yeah,
and I noticed that Linkin Park made the shift back to like that industrial type of Meteora sound, like a mix of Meteora and Hybrid Theory. If you notice with songs like The Emptiness Machine, Two-Face, I Gave You Everything I Had, like songs like these, they're rife with the theme of not being within those expectations that other people want to push on you.
right.
And I think this was a wise decision because like with a new singer, you have to make sure that fans remember why they like you in the first place. Why they think that you're so great. And I think this was a good step in that direction.
I think so too, and I think it was definitely the whole way that they announced it too, with having her on stage. Emptiness Machine was a great way to kind of show oh, the band's back, Mike is singing, and then oh, who's this? And then it's Emily on our vocals. I think she embraces the spirit of Linkin Park by screaming and singing beautifully at the same time. So I
Yes.
think it's a rare breed of both, and I don't think a lot of great singers can do that. Like you have your Tatiana from I can't pronounce her last name, but she's from Ginger, but
Yo! Oh, damn, look at that flow it made.
yeah, I got to cut it soon. But looking like Simba. But then you got Corey Taylor from Slipknot, and then you got
Yeah.
all these bands.
You got
Matt
Chino,
Heafy from Trivium.
Chino Moreno from Deftones.
Yeah, Chino Moreno, and then you got Emily Armstrong that can do both. So yeah. When I saw them though live, there were some songs that were great to hear, like "Heavy as the Crown." Um,
Yeah.
Emptiness Machine was good, and some of the earlier songs. They also did "Burn It Down" from the Living Things days. But then I don't know if it was just the way that the stage was set up, like with the mic or whatever, how it was just went out. But there's a point in the set where like we were like it was a lot of people in like we're working of rock. Welcome to Rockville is in like the Daytona 500, so there's a lot of people on this strip of land in the middle of a raceway. So we're talking like 11,000, 13,000 people. Like a lot of people are watching this.
Yeah.
So we're watching from the back. It felt like people up front heard that it was an amazing concert, one of the best performances ever. But people in the back, like myself, felt the energy was not quite there. And we felt that the energy was, I don't know if, again, it was just the way that the speakers were set up, and it wasn't quite there. And they just, I don't know, the mixing wasn't quite there. Maybe, I don't know. It definitely felt like they paid attention more to the newer stuff, and nobody seemed to care as much. So it affected the performance in a way. However, when I see stuff on social media, people are like, it was amazing up front. Everything song felt great. But so maybe it was just the way that the speakers were set up. But anyways, but I don't know. I'm not going to like it. They were fine. They were great. It just didn't feel, I don't know. It just didn't feel quite what I wanted. And it just felt like it was also Rock Festival. They played kind of more of their slower stuff. And it's like, okay, this is not that. They also showed a new song. And now, granted, the fact that like I'm at a festival and I should be appreciative of this, and I'm seeing one of my favorite bands, and like not everybody can get to see this, but they showed a new song, and the new song nobody really cared about, and because it was like a newer experimental like EDM kind of song.
Oh, okay, got it.
I don't know. It's kind of like you're at a rock festival, then all of a sudden, like I don't know, like let's say you're seeing the Rolling Stones, and all of a sudden you see like I don't know, Mick Jagger play like an electric trombone. I don't know, like you see something random. Like,
and
what
Keith
are you
Richards
doing?
to the electric triangle.
Yeah, right. Anyways, but yeah,
I can't really speak on them like I can speak on their live performances like from Texas back in 2001, which
oh yeah,
apparently
that
is
was a
one of
good
the
one.
best it was so good that they actually released a live album of that performance, and apparently it was like the best thing ever. And I think so too, especially when they played A Place for My Head. Like, oh my God,
Um,
like that song is primal carnage incarnate, dude. Seriously, incredible. But like, I think Emily's got the vocal chops for it, no doubt about it. But I think she needs more time to settle into her role as the new vocalist. Like she's been out here for like I think less than a year now, right? And
Something like that. I think
something like
she's.
that, yeah.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Something like that. And like for now, I enjoy what they're doing. Like granted, not every song is a banger. Like you look at songs like Over Each Other and Cut the Bridge and Overflow. Like these songs are kind of like they're kind of like mid-tier songs in a way. Like like chalk them up to like the worst moments of Castle of Glass or the worst moments in One More
What do you
Light.
think? Sorry. What do you think of Castle Glass? Because I know Linkin Park fans are kind of divisive on this, like heavy or
Yeah, I
one step or one more light.
it's weird because I feel like Castle of Glass is even more controversial than One More Light in the sense that nobody really talks about this album that much, but when you find like circles that do, they either love it or they hate it. It's weird.
There's no
And that's
middle ground.
there's no middle ground with this one. But like how can that be? You got Lost in the Echo, we got freaking Burn It Down, In My Remains, Castle of Glass, the title track, of course. And it's weird because like every single one of these songs I like. And if I were to rate this, I would name this like a 7 out of 10. I like this album. I think it's decent.
It's the start of the new Linkin Park because I feel like that album is when it's like you remember it for the singles, not for the like for album like enthusiasts that are like this like if there's like 10 songs, eight of them are amazing that you can listen to.
Coming towards the end of this discussion, my man, I
Yes,
want
sir.
to because we've had this thing coming for the past 4 or 5 years or so because we've thrown pog shots at each other as to what the best Linkin Park album is. We've always
You
given each
think
other
For a
shit.
Thousand Suns is the best one, which I don't think so.
But
Well,
I won't. I want to know yours. Come on, out with it. What's your favorite Linkin Park album?
It probably has to be Meteora.
Meteora. How so?
Breaking the ha-
This is a great choice, by the way. But what about Meteora makes it stand out from the rest of the albums that they have?
Well, I think it's just more personal. I think it's one of the first albums I listened to. Plus, also, it's just like when you listen from start to finish, like it's the songs of Faint, Numb, Breaking the Habit, Don't Stay. I think it has a perfect blend of slow and fast songs. I don't know. It just felt the most personal album.
Really? Do you
Yeah.
have a favorite track off of this album?
Breaking the Habit is up there.
Breaking the Habit.
I mean, Numb is fantastic, and it's still an amazing song. It brings me back. Like, it makes me, when I listen to this album, I think of like Anton Ego, where he like tastes ratatouille and brings him back home as a kid. Like, that's how it feels, you know? I think this album does it for me. I think it's like up there with 1X from 2 Days Grace or Worlds Collide with Apocalyptica. It just brings me back.
It's that late 2000s, Dragon Ball AM, like American music video, that you're just looking at these animes and then the songs that blast from the speakers, like that's Linkin Park right there. Or at least one of the bands that were typical back in that day.
Yeah, I just think everybody popped off Queen. No, everybody, everyone's
popping shots out here, boy.
Linkin Park is one of those bands where it's like if multiple people have different answers to their favorite album, I think it just signifies how much of a great discography they have.
I agree with you there. But I think it talks more about their longevity.
The longevity is a good word to put it. Yeah.
Yeah, they kicked it off incredibly with Hybrid Theory, if you ask me. I know I keep glazing Hybrid Theory, but like it's for a good reason.
Krispy
like,
Kreme donuts, yeah.
And Krispy Kreme, like they're the Boston creamer of albums. Like God, yeah, so
they said busted creamer. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
We gotta end that out.
Speaking of busting cream, Hybrid Theory, like incredible. But then, like, you're coming in with an album like Meteora, which is not that different sound wise, but I think it evolves the sound. It pushes it forward. Like a good example of this, in my opinion, is the song "Faint."
Faint, yeah.
Yeah. I am a little bit of loneliness, a little bit of disregard. Like those like muted violins that you hear, like incredible. It was so good that they brought it back to From Zero when they did Heavy as the Crown.
Yeah, right.
It's such an iconic like type of style, And I think they should be commended for what they did in Meteora. They're fantastic in the way that they did it.
Meteora is like a more seasoned Hybrid Theory. It's very the sound is more condensed. It's cleaner with the music. Not to sound like it's not, but it sounds like it's cleaner. Yeah, right. I think the production still sounds loud and dynamic, but also more polished.
I can definitely see that. I think it's a little bit more polished than Hybrid Theory.
Yeah. And not even just like lyrics, but just how it's presented.
Yeah, agreed. But I think Hybrid Theory is more primal in the sense that they had something to prove, like because if you back in the day, like what I understood is that if you wanted to break it in the rock scene, back when rock had like an institution in the mainstream, like you had to make a statement and a very loud statement at that. And like with bands like Korn, Deftones, Linkin Park, freaking Shinedown, like these bands were popping off heavy in the 2000s, and they were
popping off.
They were popping off, Queen, and they did it because they had strong first outings.
Yeah, and I agree. I think you have to have an explosive first album to be like, oh yeah, like this album is pretty good. But then you have some band that just have that one song hit wonder. Linkin Park had at least like 5 or 6 like on MTV that were like, this is like towards the end of the MTV days too. Like that's definitely what helped this band. But yeah, I think that's what helped it too. But we've talked about the earlier stuff, but what is your favorite album? Is it still Thousand Suns?
Yes. Yes, a
A
thousand times.
Thousand
Yes, a
Suns is
thousand
actually
suns.
growing on me. It's a really good album. I
Oh
think it's a
yeah.
little bit long.
I'll give you this. Linkin Park, like A Thousand Suns in my opinion, I think it's one of the weirdest albums I think I've ever heard in my
Yeah.
life. Like it's very like it has a little bit of disjointment to it, like with songs like Jornada del Muerto or freaking Blackout or The Catalyst, you know. But
Um,
like but that's why I respect this album so much. It starts off with a song called The Requiem. The Requiem is, I think, one of the more like ambient type of starts to an album I think I've ever heard. It sets the tone for the album appropriately because like once it starts going into Burning in the Skies and When They Come For Me, right? You start to feel like it's a little bit weird because it's not something that they usually do. It's like they took the electronica and made it more like the forefront, but it still has a little bit of that edge to it. But like
mm,
it's more on the lyrical sense that I think that this album is popping off, Queen, because they talk about real life situations that are beyond that relatable type of, oh my god, like I'm tired of you pushing expectations on me, I'm gonna do my own thing, Miles Morales. But I think Linkin Park actually did something cool here where like they branch out from their experience to somebody else's experience, and I think it's pretty cool. Like take the song Blackout. Blackout I think is one of the heavier tracks on this album, and like I don't think that they've lost their edge here. I think they've kind of expanded upon it without compromising much of their original sound. I say much because like it doesn't sound completely the same, but Blackout I think is one of the more like visceral tracks that they've released because it kind of chops Chester's vocals in a way where it's just like like it sounds like the song is being chopped in real time, but I think in some way it works in its favor. It gives it an edge.
it also, like, if I were to listen to this album from start to finish, I feel like the stronger songs come later in the album.
Well, you would be right. You would be right. After all, that's where Blackout, The Catalyst, Iridescent, and Waiting for the End are.
Yeah,
And th
because whoever goes, yo, Robot Boy is the shit.
yes. I can see that. I can see it.
Yeah,
And I can
Nico. Besides that, nobody else.
yeah, exactly, apart from Nico. But like I can understand if people are turned off by this album a little bit. It because I like you think that In Living Things was the transition period for their more electronic based sound. I think it's this album that started it.
I am so sorry. I got a text from my mama. So I
Oh, I hope she's doing. What's up? Shout out to Mama Trito. She listens to Linkin Park too.
no, she doesn't. I wish
Yeah,
she would.
you don't gotta hide it. I know you do. Unlike other Linkin Park albums, they deal with tough topics, they deal with heavier subject matter, of course. But I think um, that A Thousand Suns kind of differentiates itself by integrating something from their old sound and making something that's electronic based without losing the edge. I think
Mm.
in albums like in Living Color, what the hell am I saying?
Living color.
Living things where like they lean a little bit too much on the electronic, but they're still heavy, right? But I don't think they did it in a way that's balanced as I think this album is, or or I would say not as like not as grandiose. It feels like A Thousand Suns is a journey. They're trying to tell us separate amounts of stories, like grim fairy tales in a way, but instead of stories from the past, we're talking about modern stories from other people.
Robot Boy.
Robot boy, that's a but like, and it's also because it has one of my favorite batches of Linkin Park songs: Iridescent, freaking Waiting for the End, The Catalyst, The Messenger, freaking Blackout. Like half of these songs are 10 out of 10 in my opinion, but Iridescent takes the cake for being my favorite because it's like it's kind of like it's somber. It's a somber song. Like it Transformers, Dark Side of the Moon, Pink Floyd. Transformers even use this as their standout track, their Linkin Park track, and I think it's the best one. I think it stands toe to toe with What I've Done and New Divide as one of the all-time great Linkin Park
Yeah.
songs.
No, that's the part of the reason why I think we like Linkin Park is obviously there's the meme of like the what I've done, and then like the closeout, then directed by Michael Bay. The best memes, by the way. We're looking at you, Joe Biden, but what I've done goes to black. But like, I think it's cool that like Linkin Park has had that tradition of every album they do a different song. It's kind of like Avenged Sevenfold, what they do every Black Ops game.
Yeah, yeah, like you, it's one of those. You're right. It's one of those things where A7X is tied to Black Ops because of their badass theme songs and stuff, right? Same thing with Linkin Park and the Transformers movies. Like maybe not so much nowadays because the Transformers the OG trilogy was late 2000s, early 2010s. So like this was right around the time where we were impressionable, we loved this sort of stuff, and we can't separate from it, you know? It's incredible.
Unfortunately, they don't involve the best Transformers movie, which is Transformers One.
I agree. I definitely agree. Yes.
We
But
gotta do we gotta do a Transformers episode. We gotta do like an updated episode about
we
that.
do, right? We've only talked about Transformers with this episode and with Love It or Hate It with the Universal.
Oh, that's also true. And also, I'm sure in some deleted episodes where Kev recorded it on mute.
I didn't mess up, but I messed up.
We love you, Ken.
Oh, shout out to your boy Ken, bro. Seriously, yes, yes. Speaking of which, that was our assessment on Linkin Park. That like I had a lot of fun recording this episode because like it's one of my favorite bands of all. It's one of our favorite bands of all time. It's part of the reason why like we bonded so much and shit. You know, like somewhere I belong. But yeah, stay tuned for more stuff to come.
Like Lilo and Stitch the remake.
Oh God, no. Okay, that's a story for another day. But for now, thank you for watching. And Mr.
What
Smith, oh, what's up?
what piece of advice do you have to give the audience before we end it?
Remember, if you ever feel anxious about a girlfriend, a boyfriend, sex, or marriage, at least you're not a snail where you have to be worried about a dart getting shot into your head.
Cool. Cool.
Well, that's the episode. Yo, you guys have a good time, okay?